Hello students, today we are going to discuss organic chemistry. There are total 4 chapters of organic chemistry, chapter number 10, 11, 12 and 13. We will discuss chapter number 10. The name of the chapter is Haloalkane and Haloarine. Chapter number 10, Haloalkane and Haloarine. Okay. So first, let us understand the meaning of haloalkane and haloarine. The word itself consists of two words, halo plus alkane. Halo means halogen and alkane means alkane. That we have already studied in standard 11. Okay. What are halogens? So halogens are group of elements in group 17 in periodic table, like fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. These are all halogens. And alkane, we already know about that: methane, ethane, propane, butane. Same way, haloarenes means aromatic ring, aromatic structure. Okay, so we can say that those alkane which are having halogen in their structure are known as haloalkane. Same way, those arenes or those aromatic rings which are having halogens in that structure are known as haloarenes. So, moral of the story is, alkane or arenes containing halogens in their structure are known as haloalkane and haloarenes. Okay. Now the question is, how these haloalkanes and haloarenes are prepared? How can we prepare haloalkanes? Okay. So let's understand this by one example. We have got methane, CH4, and as we know, methane is having 4 hydrogens. If we replace any of the hydrogen by any halogen, let's say we are replacing hydrogen with chlorine, then we will get CH3Cl, and that is chloromethane. Okay. So we can understand this. If we are replacing any of the hydrogen with chlorine or with halogen, we can get haloalkane. So here we are replacing hydrogen with chlorine and we are getting chloromethane. So this is haloalkane. Same way, if we replace any of the hydrogen from aromatic ring by any halogen, we can get haloarenes. So by replacing any of the hydrogen with halogen, we can get haloalkane. Okay. Now the question is, why do we need to study this chapter? What is the logic of this chapter? Why is there so much importance of haloalkane and haloarene in our daily life? Okay. So mainly haloalkane and haloarenes, they are good solvents. So many of the industries use haloalkane and haloarenes as solvent. Many of the compounds are dissolved in haloalkane and haloarenes. So they are good solvents. Second importance, you might have heard about chloramphenicol. Chloramphenicol is one of the antibiotic that is produced by microorganisms. Okay. Chloramphenicol is used for the treatment of typhoid fever. So if anyone is suffering from typhoid fever, we can give them chloramphenicol. Okay. Chloramphenicol contains chlorine in their structure. It is having chlorine. So it is one of the haloalkane. Second, you must be knowing about chloroquine. This medicine is nowadays very popular, chloroquine. Chloroquine is useful for the treatment of malaria. And chloroquine is again one of the haloalkane. Okay. Now, fourth is, our body synthesizes one of the hormone, thyroxine. Our body synthesizes thyroxine, and thyroxine is a hormone which contains iodine in the structure. So if there is deficiency of iodine in our body, we can get goiter So there will be swelling in our throat. So that disease is known as goiter. So goiter is caused by deficiency of iodine, and for the production of thyroxine, iodine is needed. So for the production of thyroxine, iodine is needed. If there is not much iodine in our body, we can get goiter. Okay. So these are the importance of haloalkane and haloarenes. Apart from this, there are many applications of these haloalkane and haloarenes that you will be studying in higher standard. Okay. Now we will discuss about classification of haloalkane and haloarenes. So we will start main topics. We will discuss classification. Classification of haloalkane based on number of halogens. Classification based on number of halogens. So based on number of halogens, we can classify in three groups. First is monohalides, second is dihalide, and third is, we can say, trihalide or polyhalide. Okay. Now let us understand the meaning of monohalide, dihalide and trihalide. Monohalide, mono means single, halide means halogen. So if any of the compound contains single halogen in the structure, they are known as monohalide. Example, CH3Cl, chloromethane. So chloromethane is having only one halogen in the structure, then they are known as monohalide. Now we'll discuss dihalide. Di means two. So if any of the compound is having two halogens in their structure, they are known as dihalide. Example, CH2Cl, 1,2-dichloroethane. This compound is having two halogens, two chlorine in the structure, then they are known as dihalide. Then same way, tri means three. So if three halogens are there in any compound, then they are known as trihalide. You can write same example like CH2Cl, CHCl and CH2Cl. The IUPAC name of this compound is 1,2,3-trichloropropane, and this compound is having three halogens in their structure, and that is why they are known as trihalide. So on the basis of number of halogens, there are three groups: monohalide, dihalide and trihalide. If one halogen is there, then that is monohalide. If two halogens are there, that is dihalide. If three halogens are there, then that is trihalide. So based on number of halogens, there are three classes. Now we will discuss classification of haloalkane. So classification of haloalkane and haloarenes based on type of hybridization. So the carbon containing halogen, it can be having sp3 hybridization or it can be having sp2 hybridization. So in haloalkane, X is halogen, C is carbon. So halogen containing carbon can be having two type of hybridization. It can have sp2 hybridization or it can have sp3 hybridization. So now we are going to discuss classification based on type of hybridization of haloalkane. Okay, we'll discuss first about sp3 hybridization. So based on sp3 hybridization of haloalkane, there are three classes of haloalkane or haloarene. First is alkyl halide, second is allylic halide, and third is benzylic halide. So based on sp3 hybridization of carbon which is having halogen, there are three groups: alkyl halide, allylic halide and benzylic halide. Now what is alkyl halide? So if alkyl group is present with halogen, what is alkyl group? Methyl, ethyl, propyl, butyl, these are all alkyl groups. So if alkyl group is present with halogen, they are known as alkyl halide. Okay, and alkyl halides are of three types. So alkyl halides are of three types. They can be primary, secondary, and tertiary. So alkyl halide can be primary, they can be secondary, and they can be tertiary. Now what is the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary? Okay. So for example, if halogen containing carbon is attached with only one carbon group, let's say CH3, CH2, Cl. If halogen containing carbon is attached with only one carbon, then that is known as primary alkyl halide. Same way, if halogen containing carbon is attached with another two carbon or two alkyl group, we can say, then that is secondary. Same way, if halogen containing carbon is attached with another three carbon or three alkyl group, then we can say it is tertiary. Okay, let us understand the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary haloalkanes are those haloalkanes in which halogen containing carbon is attached with only one alkyl group or only one carbon. Whereas halogen containing carbon is attached with two alkyl group or two carbon, then that is secondary. If halogen containing carbon is attached with three alkyl group or three carbon, then that is known as tertiary alkyl halide. Okay, so these are alkyl halide, primary, secondary, and tertiary. Now what is allylic halide? So in allylic halide, the halogen containing carbon is having sp3 hybridization. See, the halogen containing carbon is having sp3 hybridization. It is having only single bond, but its neighbor carbon is having double bond. So its neighbor carbon is having sp2 hybridization. Then that is known as allylic. Okay, once again. In this compound, carbon is having chlorine. That particular carbon is only single bonded, but its neighbor carbon is having double bond. Then that type of structure is known as allylic. Okay, so we can say that the carbon which is having halogen, its neighbor carbon is having double bond. Then this type of structure is known as allylic. So neighbor carbon is known as allylic carbon, and that type of structure is known as allylic halide. So carbon containing halogen and its neighbor carbon is having double bonded, then that is known as allylic. Now we will discuss benzylic. Okay. So in case of benzylic, the name itself suggests it must be having benzene ring in the structure. So benzene ring is there, but halogen is not directly attached with benzene. It is attached with alkyl group, because here chlorine or halogen containing carbon must be having sp3 hybridization. So carbon of alkyl group is attached with halogen which is having sp3 hybridization. So this carbon is having sp3 hybridization, and that alkyl group is attached with aromatic ring, let's say benzene. So that type of structure is known as benzylic halide. Okay. So halogen containing carbon which is alkyl group, it can be methyl, ethyl, propyl, anything, and that alkyl group is further attached with aromatic ring, then that type of structure is known as benzylic. Here in case of alkyl, the halogen containing carbon is also sp3 hybridized. So if halogen containing carbon is sp3 hybridized, then there are three classes of haloalkanes: alkyl, allylic, and benzylic. Okay. Now we will discuss classification of haloalkane based on carbon containing sp2 hybridization. This was sp3 hybridized molecules. Now we will discuss about sp2 hybridization. Now based on sp2 hybridized molecule, there are mainly two classes of molecules. One is vinylic and second is aryl, or we can say vinyl or aryl. So haloalkanes in which carbon is attached with halogen and that carbon is sp2 hybridized, based on that there are two types of compounds, or there are two types of molecules. One is vinylic and second one is arylic. Okay. Now let us understand the difference between vinylic and arylic. Okay. So if halogen containing carbon itself is having double bonded, which means this particular carbon is sp2 hybridized. Halogen containing carbon itself is having double bond, which means it is having sp2 hybridization, then that is known as vinylic. In case of aryl, the name itself suggests that it must be having aryl ring. So there will be aromatic ring here, and halogen is directly attached with aryl ring. The difference between benzylic and aryl is, in case of aryl, halogen is directly attached to benzene ring. In case of benzylic, halogen is attached with alkyl ring, alkyl chain, and alkyl chain is again attached with aromatic ring. In case of aryl, halogen is directly attached with benzene ring. We all know that carbon is having sp2 hybridization because it is having double bond. So if halogen containing carbon is having double bond in its structure, then it is sp2 hybridized, and that is known as vinylic. If halogen containing carbon is attached directly with aromatic ring, then that is known as aryl haloalkane. So this is classification based on sp2 hybridization. Now we'll discuss nomenclature of haloalkane and haloarine. We have already seen nomenclature in standard 11, IUPAC nomenclature. So we already know this topic. So we are going to revise this topic, nomenclature. Nomenclature of haloalkane and haloarine. Okay. So CS3Cl. We will use prefix like if chlorine is then chloro. If bromine is then bromo. If iodine is then iodo. So chloro, one carbon is there, then we will say chloromethane. So chloro is used as a prefix, one carbon is there, then that is known as methane. So this is chloromethane. Same way, if we are having two carbons and chlorine is there, then we will say it is chloroethane. Why ethane? Because there are two carbons. We can write CH3, CH2, Cl. Three carbons are there, one chlorine is there, then that is known as chloro. Three carbons, which means propane. So this is chloropropane. Okay. If chlorine is present at carbon number 2, if chlorine is present at second carbon, then we will write this structure as 2-chloropropane. Here we are not mentioning 1-chloropropane because chloropropane itself suggests that chlorine is present at carbon number 1. But if chlorine is present at carbon number 2, then we have to mention its number. So we will write 2-chloropropane. Okay. Let's see many other examples of haloalkane. Okay. So if methyl group is there and chlorine is present at carbon number 1, so we'll give number from this side 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is 3, this is methyl. So 3 methyl, 1 chlorobutane. This is 3 methyl, 1 chloro. There are total 4 carbons, then it will be named as butane. So 3 methyl, 1 chloro, butane. Okay. For aromatic structure, like if chlorine is attached directly with benzene, so this is known as chlorobenzene. Chlorobenzene. If there are two halogens, let's say chlorine is here and chlorine is here, then we can write 1,2-dichlorobenzene. Chlorine is present at carbon number 1 and carbon number 2. Then that is name is 1,2-dichlorobenzene. 1,2-dichlorobenzene. If there are 3 halogens, let's say 3 chlorine, here, here and here. So we can write 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Total 3 chlorines. Then trichloro benzene. So 1, 2, 3. Trichloro. 3 chlorines are there. Then trichloro benzene. So likewise, aromatic name can be given. Now let's see other examples. So we have got CHCl3. The common name of this compound is chloroform. We already know about chloroform. IUPAC name. What will be the IUPAC name of chloroform? So that is, there are 3 chlorines are there in compounds. Though 111 trichloro. Well, we don't have to mention 111. Trichloro, 1 carbon is there, and that is methane. So this is trichloromethane. Same way, if CHBr3 is there, then 3 bromines are there, then that is tribromomethane. Tribromomethane. This is trichloromethane, this is tribromomethane. Okay. Now, last part of the nomenclature, we must know the difference between geminal dihalide and vicinal dihalide. Geminal and vicinal dihalide. Okay. Now, what is the difference between geminal and vicinal? Let's understand this by one example. Okay. Dihalide, which means 2 halogens are there. So if 2 halogens are attached at only 1 carbon, then that is known as geminal dihalide. If halogens are attached at nearby carbons, see, these 2 are dihalide, so they must be having 2 halogens in their structure. But in this case, 2 halogens are attached at only 1 carbon, then that is geminal dihalide. If 2 halogens are attached at nearby carbons, then that is known as vicinal. The meaning of vicinal is nearby, which means 2 halogens are attached at nearby carbons. So if 2 halogens are attached at nearby carbons, then that is vicinal. If 2 halogens are attached at only 1 carbon, then that is known as geminal dihalide. So this is all about nomenclature. Hello students. So we have started chapter number 10, haloalkane and haloalkane. We have covered topics like preparation of haloalkane, we have seen nomenclature, we have seen physical properties, we have also seen SN1 SN2 reaction, we have also seen stereochemistry, right, optical activity and chirality. Today we are going to discuss whole new topic. The topic is elimination reaction. Elimination reaction. Okay. So the name itself suggests that elimination, which means something is going to be eliminated out, something is going to be released, right? So from the reagent, some product is eliminated, some product is going to be released, right? Let's understand by one example. Okay. So we have got CH3, CH2Cl, chloroethane. This is chloroethane. Now, for elimination reaction, haloalkane reacts with alcoholic KOH. Base is used, and base is KOH. KOH is dissolved in alcoholic. So it reacts with alcoholic KOH. So this is alcoholic KOH. Now, what will happen? This metal will react with halogen and it will form KCl. So KCl is released. Now from this carbon, hydrogen will be eliminated. So hydrogen from here and OH from here, it will form H2O. So another product is H2O. Now what is left? Hydrogen has been removed from here, chlorine has been removed from here, So what is there? CH2 double bond CH2. So this is ethene. Okay. So which means that if haloalkane reacts with alcoholic KOH, we will get ethene plus salt plus water. Now, this carbon CH2Cl, this carbon is attached with halogen. Chlorine is attached here. So this is known as alpha carbon. Okay. Its neighbor carbon, this carbon is known as beta carbon. So halogen containing carbon is designated as alpha carbon, whereas neighbor carbon is designated as beta carbon. So you can see here, halogen is removed from alpha carbon, whereas hydrogen is removed from beta carbon. Halogen from alpha carbon combines with potassium and it will form KCl. Hydrogen from beta carbon, it will combine with OH and it will form H2O. So what is left? Here CH2 is left. So CH2, there will be double bond to satisfy the balancing, and that is known as ethene. So we can say that if haloalkane reacts with alcoholic KOH, it will form alkene, right? So product is alkane. This reaction is also known as beta elimination reaction. The reason is from beta carbon, hydrogen is removed. So if hydrogen is removed from beta carbon, that is why it is also known as beta elimination reaction. Another name of this reaction is dehydrohalogenation. Dehydrohalogenation. Why it is known as dehydrohalogenation? The reason is D means remove. D means remove. Hydro means hydrogen and halogen. So in this reaction, hydrogen and halogen both are removed, both are eliminated. So in this reaction, hydrogen and halogen both are eliminated or both are removed. That is why it is also known as dehydrohalogenation. So in exam, question can be asked like right or not on beta elimination or right or not on dehydrohalogenation. Both are same thing. Okay, let's understand this in detail by one more example. So we have got CH3, CH2, CH2, CH, CH3, 2 bromopentane. This is 2 bromopentane. Now, if 2 bromopentane reacts with alcoholic KOH, so 2 bromopentane reacts with alcoholic KOH, what will be the product? So, here this is alpha carbon because this carbon is attached with halogen. Now, there are two possibilities of beta carbon. This can be beta carbon and this carbon can also be beta carbon. So, neighbor carbon is always beta carbon. So, if this is alpha carbon, then there are two possibilities of beta carbon. This carbon can be beta carbon. This carbon can also be beta carbon. Now, if two beta carbons are there, then there are possibilities of two products. We can get two products. Which are there? If hydrogen is removed from this beta carbon, then one product is there. If hydrogen is removed from this beta carbon, then second product can be formed. Okay, let's write both the products. So, if suppose halogen is removed from here and hydrogen is removed from this carbon, then we will get CH3, CH2, CH2, CH double one CH2. So hydrogen is removed from here and halogen is removed from here. So we will get pent1e. So this is pent1e. Byproducts are also same. We will get KBr plus H2O. So plus KBr plus H2O. Okay. Now another possibility is if hydrogen is removed from this beta carbon, then we can get CH3, CH2, CH double bond CH, CH3. This is pen2e. Okay. So if two beta carbons are there, then we can get two products. Now the question is, which is major product and which is minor product? pent 1 and pent 2 in among these, which is major product. So for that, Sadzev, the scientist name is Sadzev, it is also known as Zadzev, gave a rule which defines which is major product and which is minor product. According to Sadzev rule, if double bonded carbon, they are having higher number of or more number of alkyl group, it will be major product. So if this carbon is having two alkyl group, methyl, ethyl, this double bonded carbon is having only one alkyl group. So those double bonded carbon which are having more number of alkyl group, it will be major product, and those which are having less number of alkyl group, it will be minor product. So according to that rule, this is a major product. So major product is pent 2. Again, so what is Sadzev rule? Sadzev rule is in alkene, the carbon which are double bonded, if it is having more number of alkyl group, then that is major product. So Sadzev rule is, according to Sadzev rule, pent 2 is major product. Okay. So this is all about beta elimination or beta hydrogenation. Okay. So in exam, right, if they can ask write a note on beta elimination, you are supposed to write both this reaction, right? So in case of beta elimination, they can also ask write a note on dehydrogenation. So answer will be same. Now we are going to discuss another topic. The topic is reaction of haloalkane with metals. Reaction of haloalkane with metals. Reaction with metals. Okay. Haloalkane is polar in nature. They are having partially positive, partial negative charge. It can react with any metal like magnesium. So for example, if chloroethane is there, CH3CH2Cl, chloroethane, it can react with magnesium in presence of diether. If chloroethane reacts with magnesium in presence of diether, magnesium can react with halogen and it can also bond with carbon. So it will form CH3, CH2, MgCl. So we will get ethyl magnesium chloride. So again, haloalkane reacts with magnesium in presence of diether and it will form alkyl magnesium halide. It is generally written as RMgS. Okay, this is RMgS. Alkyl, R means alkyl, magnesium halide. This is alkyl magnesium halide, and this is known as Grignard reagent. This is Grignard reagent. Okay, this is Grignard reagent. So remember this. We have already seen Grignard reagent in standard 11. Alkyl magnesium halide is known as Grignard reagent. So how this reagent is formed? Haloalkane reacts with magnesium in presence of diether and it will form alkyl magnesium halide, which is known as Grignard reagent. Okay, now in Grignard reagent, because magnesium is highly electropositive, so the bonded carbon will be towards alkyl group, and that is why we have written negative charge on alkyl group. And one more thing, alkyl group and magnesium, between alkyl group and magnesium, there will be covalent bond. So this is covalent bond. But because magnesium is electropositive, so this alkyl group will attract electrons, bonded electrons, and it will give a partial negative charge, and magnesium will give a partial positive charge. Whereas in case of magnesium and halogen, there is ionic bond. So between magnesium and halogen, ionic bond is there. So this positive charge will attract negative charge of halogen. So this is ionic bond, this is covalent bond. So this is Grignard reagent. Now, Grignard reagent suppose CH3CH2 MgCl can react with any solvents or any compounds which are having proton. So Grignard reagent can react with proton containing compounds. So what are the examples of proton containing compounds? Water, it is having proton. Alcohol, it is having proton. So it can react with proton containing compound. Let's say water. So Grignard reagent reacts with water. Now, whenever there is reaction of water, we will divide water into H plus and OH minus. Magnesium is having positive charge, halogen is having negative charge, this carbon is having negative charge. Alcohol. Okay. Now as we know, the positive charge of metal, magnesium, will act as negative charge, so it will act as OH minus. So we can get MgOHCl. So negative charge of OH minus will be attracted by magnesium, so it will form MgOHCl. Now, hydrogen or proton from here, it will attract alkyl group, because alkyl group is having negative charge, H plus is having positive charge, so it will form CH3CH3. So alkene is formed. So the moral of the story is, if Grignard reagent reacts with water, the main product is alkane. So we will get alkane over here. CH3, CH3, this is ethane. So Grignard reagent reacts with water and it will form alkane. So final product is alkane. Okay. So this is Grignard reaction. Now we are going to discuss another reaction, and that is known as Wurtz reaction. Reaction is Wurtz reaction. Okay. We have already discussed Wurtz reaction in standard 11. This is again same thing. So we have got haloalkane. Suppose chloroethane is there. So in 2 moles of chloroethane reacts with 2 moles of sodium in presence of dry ether. We have got 2 moles of haloalkane, it reacts with 2 moles of sodium. Then we will get 2 sodium from here, 2 chlorine from here, it will form 2 NaCl. So 2 sodium from here and 2 chlorine from here, it will form 2 NaCl. Now what is left? We have got CH3, 2 times of ethane. So CH3. So we have got ethane. So this is Wurtz reaction. 2 moles of haloalkane reacts with 2 moles of sodium or 2 moles of metal in presence of dry ether. 2 sodium will react with 2 chlorine, it will form 2 NaCl. Now what is left? CH3 is left. So CH3, we will get alkane. So in this reaction, if you observe the reaction carefully, we are having 1 carbon containing haloalkane and we are getting double the carbon of haloalkane, which means the haloalkane, the number of carbon in haloalkane is lower than the alkane, or we can say that the product which is alkane, it is having double the number of carbon compared to haloalkane. So this is chloromethane. It is having 1 carbon only, but we are getting product like ethane, and it is having 2 carbon. So we can say that in Wurtz reaction, the product is having double the number of carbon compared to haloalkane. So in Wurtz reaction and in Grignard reaction, the final product is alkane. Okay.